Hello, and welcome back to Uncovering Hidden Healing. I'm your host, Arletha Lizana, and I'm excited to have you with us for another powerful session in our series. As many of you know, this series is more than just conversations. It's a journey into the rich and often hidden healing traditions of Africa and the African diaspora. As a healer and educator, I've had the privilege of connecting with practitioners who are deeply rooted in these traditions and through partnerships with Morehouse School of Medicine, Sable Women, and PROMETRA International. We're uncovering the ancient knowledge that has helped heal communities for generations. Today, we are diving into a vital topic that combines both healing and environmental stewardship, traditional healing and natural medicine forestry in Uganda. Forests have long been the cradle of traditional medicine, offering the plants and herbs used in healing. Understanding how we can preserve these sacred spaces while promoting the use of natural medicine is critical to the sustainability of these practices. I'm honored to introduce today's guest, Dr. Sekagya Yahaya Hills, also known as Kagali III. Dr. Sekagya is a traditional chief in the Buganda Kingdom, Deputy Prime Minister of Namumonjo,
Namulondo.
sorry, Chieftain, and Director of PROMETRA Uganda. He has dedicated his life to promoting traditional medicine and African spirituality, combining his profound knowledge as a traditional healer with his extensive academic background, including a medical degree in dental surgery and a master of public health. Dr. Sekagya's work in natural medicine, forestry, and traditional healing is renowned, and today he'll share his insights with us. So grab your notebooks and get ready for an enlightening discussion about the powerful intersection of traditional healing and natural medicine forestry in Uganda. So, Dr. Sekagya, welcome to Uncovering Hidden Healing. It's an honor to have you with us today. So before we dive into the richness of Uganda's natural medicine forestry, can you please tell us a little bit more, tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and your journey as a traditional healer?
Thank you very much, host. I'm Dr. Sekagya. I'm a traditional healer by calling. That means I inherited that ability to heal. I'm a dental surgeon by training, and I am privileged to have both inherited abilities to heal and also medical training in health management. I also have a diploma in law.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Sekagya. I mean, your work is so powerful and just, like the blend of traditional healing and environmental preservation. So to start, can you explain the role of natural forests in traditional healing and why these ecosystems are crucial for the practice of natural medicine?
We use ancestral spirits in health management.
Mm-hmm.
Ancestral spirits reside in sacred places. These sacred places are mainly in nature and some are man-made. So the linking in healing, we use rituals to excite, to incite, to congregate the ancestral spirits that we use in healing. So nature is part of the medicines we use. Nature includes plants and animals, living and non-living things. And within our beliefs, we know that plants, animals, living and non-living things have spiritual materials, have spiritual energies that we can tap into for healing. And we use rituals and other forms of culturally packaged message processes to elicit that spiritual healing powers that we can use for healing. Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. So, Dr. Sekagya, you've been a traditional healer since 1978 and have seen firsthand the importance of the forest for medicine. So, how has the landscape of natural medicine forestry changed over the years in Uganda? And what steps are being taken to preserve these valuable ecosystems? So these sacred forests, how are you preserving them for future generations?
Yes, there has been a lot of degeneration of the degradation of the natural forests, and mainly the degradation has been done by man for values other than conserving the forests. Now, our effort is to see that we educate the public about the values of the forests, both in healing, uh, getting natural resources, healing powers, medicines as herbs, and other aspects. So also we are indeed for us we're educating the people about the sacredness of nature and the spiritual powers that reside in within the nature. So you cannot you cannot really conserve what you have no value for. So our effort is to revalue our values, to revalue the sacredness of our environment, and then how we utilize it in various aspects of healing and the use of other natural resources, especially for healing purposes.
Yes, thank you. So, Uganda plays an important role in promoting traditional medicine and healthcare. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the work of PROMETRA Uganda? So, what are you doing in regards to traditional medicine, education, forestry, everything? So, what does PROMETRA Uganda do?
PROMETRA Uganda stands for Promotion of Medical Traditions. It's an association that works with in various traditional healers associations in Uganda. These healers associations are organized within their own value systems. So we engage them, we work with them, and now the time came when we had to demonstrate what actually we mean with the natural forest. So we initiated a forest school where traditional healers come, whether they know little, whether they know much, they come together and do self-proficiency training where you add value to what you know. We exchange knowledge. If two, three people come together and each one knows some bit of knowledge here and there, the exchange adds to everybody in the process. We gather once a week, that is Wednesday, which is what turned out to be the most convenient day. We gather in the forest, normally around 100 to 150 traditional healers. And within that, we have structured our forest training into 5 sections. We have the first section for learning about plants and their medicinal values. Here we learn about the plants, their characteristics, how to identify them, their medicinal values, the poisonous plants, conservation, and all of those, and what ailments they manage. In that way, we are more about the general aspect of management using plants. Then we have a section where we do uh, human diseases that affect the human body, diseases and illnesses. And those diseases and illnesses, we identify within our communities the most 40 diseases, most common 40 ailments, diseases or illnesses. And there we look for the medicinal plants that address those 40 common ailments in our respective communities. And there we continuously add the aspects of our knowledge in using the plants, when to harvest them, which type of plant, because in the first year we have already known how to categorize them, how to identify them. Now it is how do we use them for treatment, which ailments, which plant treat which ailment, which plant which treat which ailment. That also takes another full year for 40 diseases. We study one disease every week, and we study for 40 weeks. Thereafter, we sit our own exams, internal exams. Then thereafter, you can pass to go to the next class. The next one is divided. Class 3 is divided into 5 categories. We have herbalists, those who use plants because of their phytochemical compounds. We have spiritualists, those who use plants because of their spiritual energies, spiritual potentials, therapeutic effects of the spiritual energies of the plants and other natural resources. We have bone setters. Those are people who can do bone setting, bone manipulations, such that they improve bone alignment. If you have bone fractures, they manage them. We have those who are traditional birth attendants, those who attend to ladies from when they conceive, through pregnancy, and then delivery, and after delivery they go in to look for the young children, infants, using traditional methods. And then we have mental specialists. We have traditional healers who are specialized in mental illnesses, mental derangements. And those ones, the mental derangements can be from organic causes, biological causes, they can be from spiritual, cultural issues. All those are identified through processes of divination and other processes. So that's basically how the class goes. We also train with using self-proficiency, record keeping, conservation methods, harvesting, appropriate harvesting methods, then preparation that are conservative. All those aspects are part of what we do. And if you have the time, I will flip to you a short introduction to a documentary we did in relating to what we do in the forest school.
Oh, sure. Sure. Yes. No, that's awesome. Thank you. So whatever you would like to share, that would be great.
Yes, I would like to share just a bit of a slide that can explain what we actually do.
Okay.
Such that at that moment we can discuss more when we are seeing something.
Okay. Okay.
Allow me to share.
Okay. Let's see. So at the bottom, it should say present.
Yes, I don't know how to go to that.
So it's at the bottom of your screen. It should say present, and then you click it.
Talk now.
Yes.
It is disheartening when you read about this, where there was a systematic process to destroy our values. And that article really stimulated me into what I'm doing now. But the slide I'm interested in, this shows the artifacts and regalia in the traditional healer's shrine. These are artifacts, you can see?
Yes.
Yes, these are artifacts and regalia of the traditional healer, and this is me. Now, my interest is in this slide. I'm using a galaxy outlay to illustrate the engagement of ancestral spirits in healing. Are we together?
Yes.
Now, ancestral spirits are called Ruwale in our local language. And these ancestral spirits are composed of spirits of the dead, the work spirits, and the mystical ancestral spirits. These mystical ancestral spirits have the royal spirits, dry land spirits, and water-related spirits. that can work. Do you see the cursor?
Yes.
That can work for healing together or individually. They can be called in individually to do the healing. Now, these ancestral spirits use material which include living things and non-living things. Living things may include plants and animals, birds, insects, and reptiles. Non-living things include water, minerals, rocks, and other things. In healing, we also use non-material. Non-material include energies tapped from fire, celestial bodies such as moon, sun, stars, and also sacred places. The sacred places could be man-made or natural. Natural such as forests, mountains, and all other things. And down here, we are using different methods of healing. In health management, we use divination, we do ritual cleansing, we do ritual bath, scarification, use of amulets, and herbalism. And in the process, we use different methods to potentiate the connectivity of the individual spirit medium, who is a person, using these various methods to potentiate connectivity with these ancestral spirits, which we then can be used for healing. And in the next slide, I want to illustrate that for us, concepts of health, illness, and disease are much as we might think health, when you talk of good health, we might mean the same, but actually we might mean different things. So there is no standard word for good health that stands valid for all communities, all the time, in all contexts. And also, illness and disease to us are quite different things. Much as they are connected, they are almost the same, but they are distinctly different. Allow me to go to the next slide, where when we talk of good health in the local language of Lamu or Bulungi, this good health, you cannot be in good health when you don't have good relationship with your ancestors. So it goes beyond the physical and biological health into the non-physical health, which include psychological health, behavioral health, soul, and spirit. There are other aspects of good health, which include affordability of basic human needs. You can't say you are in good health when you have no shelter or you can't access medical care. If you have bad social relations, social and cultural relations, you cannot be claimed to be in good health. So if you have bad luck in whatever you do, you are even at your workplace, you cannot claim to be in good health. So good health has many aspects within the traditional aspect of thinking. And in that way, so also we have illness and diseases. Illness and diseases, we think, we know in our traditions, are not the same things. Disease, the difference between disease and illness is mainly rooted within their root causes, what they primarily affect, and also the management processes. In this way, for diseases, we know that the root causes of diseases are taken to be organisms, microorganisms, which could be bacteria, viruses, worms, There could be physiological changes or even physical damage. But for illness, the root causes are ancestral spirits. There could be cultural issues or spiritual issues or witchcraft. For disease, it primarily affects the body structure, body organs, and their physiological function. For illness, they primarily affect illness primarily affects the soul, the spirit, and the morals. Therefore, the management processes are significantly different. For diseases, we give the management process for diseases, we give medicines to kill the disease-causing organisms or do surgery to remove the damaged part. For illness, we do processes to actually remove the disease-causing agent through use of ancestral spirits, rituals and symbols, rituals and ceremonies, symbolism, the spiritual energies contained in the living and non-living things. Therefore, and this means that actually we don't have a single, this determines, this difference between illness and disease determine the management process. We might not give herbs when the illness is with the soul. There, engaging spirits, rituals could generate more spiritual energies to address the cause, because we might not have a herbal to address the spiritual issue or a cultural issue. There, rituals, ancestral spirits, symbols, and symbolism come in very handy. And therefore, for us, we believe in ancestral, we believe in spirits. Well, we believe that spirits, we have the natural and ancestral spirits. Ancestral spirits in our local language is Luare. The ones I showed you in the galaxy outlay. Now, these natural spirits include those and then the ancestral spirits. For now, I will concentrate more on the ancestral spirit that possess a person and verbalize. We also believe that these ancestral spirits are categorized into they have categories. We have spirits of the dead person, we have the work spirits, and we have the mystical ancestral spirits, which are further subcategorized into the royal, non-royal dryland spirits, those on the dryland, those that are related to water spirits, and then the royal spirits. And they are given in details in each category. So we, as people who use ancestral spirits in healing, we believe that living and non-living materials have spiritual powers that can be tapped into healing. As I have explained in the galaxy outlay, living things include the animals, birds, and plants, and non-living things include regalia and artifacts, amulets, and others. So we also believe and we utilize that materials have spiritual powers that can be tapped into healing, the nanomaterials. These nanomaterials can be utilized, such as prayers and use of words. Prayers can be individual prayers, family prayers, or communal prayers. We find that family and communal prayers are more instrumental and are stronger. They generate stronger spiritual healing energies than individual prayers. Rituals do the same. Rhythm can be in forms of sound, movement, dances, and all that. All those generate spiritual healing powers that we can utilize in healing. The ancestral spirits, I have already talked about them. And then, if we have seen that health management depends on the root cause of the illness and disease, but also we are aware that the root causes could be cultural, spiritual, or otherwise. In case they are cultural, spiritual, or due to witchcraft, the main reasons for those are outlined. So harmonization, if you have unfinished business with ancestral spirit, be you as an individual or as a family or as a clan, the ancestral spirits can cause illnesses and subsequently diseases. And these illnesses can be identified, can be categorized, and then management processes can then follow. In that aspect, you might find that simple rituals can end up being the solution to the problem. We have cultural issues where, for example, you have a gift, like I have an inherited gift for healing, and if I become stubborn and fail to nurture it, failing to nurture it will cause me problems and illnesses that might not respond to Western medical approaches. And in any case, when we take you to medical systems and we fail, then we come into the traditional medicine processes, and then we address change of name. Some people are given cultural names that are significant, but when they grow, possibly the names look awkward, too much traditional, they end up changing the name. That change of the name from an ancestral given name with useful meaning can cause you problems. And you can get illness, diseases that fail to be cured. And when you come to us and we assess that actually the problem is the name, we only tell you to utilize your name, to start calling yourself the name you were given at birth, then your health problems will change.
Mhm. Yeah.
And also, issues to do witchcraft. Witchcraft can come out of envy, jealousy, and curses. So, health management approaches for treatment, prevention, health promotion, and also protection, depending on the cause, all these rituals and ceremonies, prayers, use of amulets, use of rhythm, ritual cleansing, ritual bath, sacrifice, scarifications, all those determine are determined by the prospective root cause. So there you don't need to give anybody a herb, because a herb will not do. A herb might go in to repair the damaged part of the body. So in the simple conclusion, therefore, in that aspect, it is that I am a Muganda, I belong to Baganda, and we use ancestral spirits in health management. Words used to describe health and diseases, much as they look closely related, they are distinctly different, as you have also seen in the differences between illness and diseases, from the root causes, what they have primarily affect, and the management perspectives. So the practice of use ancestral spirits is based on our beliefs, and these beliefs are real to us, their culture, their inherited beliefs, and in any case, once we utilize these beliefs, we get the results. And in any case, the root cause of illness and determine on the disease determine the management approaches. I can now slightly go back to to get the galaxy outlay. Can you still see?
Yes. You can still see one more slide back, I think. The other, yeah, the other way. There we
Yes. Now, after that, because we know causes of disease and illness are variable, we can only use divination to identify the root cause. We might fail to actually utilize a lab or an X-ray or other Western medical ailments, diagnostic methods to identify or to establish that the change of your name is the cause of your illness. That one we cannot take you to a laboratory and
Right,
find out the cause.
right.
So we shall use divination to do that. Then we go into these processes. And just to recap, we have ancestral spirits, that spirits of the dead, worker spirits, and other spirits. These spirits utilize material and non-material to do the healing processes. The non-material aspect are potentiated by initiations, intuition, visions, dreams. These dreams are to us very informative. We can have therapeutic dreams, we can have diagnostic dreams, we have various dreams. And in any case, we might, if we fail to actually do the divination properly, we can go into fasting. We can fast, a bit of fasting, to see how we can potentiate our access to ancestral spirits. We can do offerings, sacrifices, divinations, ritual healing, and we rarely use plants as herbs when we are using spirituality. We use herbs to repair damages on the physical body. We use herbs now as medicine in that aspect. Now, I think I can summarize on that. We can continue with the questions you want to ask.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. This has been so enlightening. This is very helpful, especially when you talked about the naming, because we know, like during colonialism, many people changed their names and adopted different names that weren't theirs. Also, during enslavement, people in the African diaspora were given names that weren't their names, So it's important that I'm glad that you included that in an example for our audience. But my questions are, so what is the name of the spiritual system? So what is this spiritual system called? And what are some of the names of the spirits that you work with?
Some of the names of the spirits we work with, I will show them.
Okay.
If you allow me.
Okay, yes.
Yes, we use spirits like Mwanga. These are dryland spirits. The most commonly used spirits are Mwanga and Dungu, but there are many more. This was just to illustrate. Then the royal spirits include Kaumpuli, Ndaula, Bamweyana. These spirits are actually specialized in their own ways. They are called in for their specialities. And then the water-related spirits include Mukasa, Musoke, Chiwanuka, Kadwanema, and many others. That is just a glimpse on the many ancestral spirits used. And for the worker spirits, they gain the names, they are given names mainly related to the speciality of their work. If they are more in diagnostic spirits, they gain the name of the diagnostic aspects. So they are given the names depending on what they do mainly.
And the name of this system is just Buganda spiritual system. Is that how?
Now the name is called Oburubare.
Okay. And what does that mean?
That means they using this one.
Okay.
Lubale.
Okay.
This means using ancestral spirit in health management.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So another question we have, can you talk about how you were identified to be a healer? So how did that happen? How did you start? How did you know that you were to train to become a healer? Like, and were your ancestors healers as well, your parents or anything like that? So how did you know, like, what is that process for you to become a healer?
I want to get out of this and just reflect it on another slide.
Yes.
How do I go out of this?
So let's stop here. Let's move this out.
Process of becoming a healer. The slide has not come, but I will show you, because now there are 4 aspects that you really have to be. One, you must have a gift, and that gift in you brings out signs and indicators, and these indicators are identified in you by the community members and also by the experts in the field, the spiritualists.
Mm-hmm.
So when these spirits are, when these potentials in you are identified, then they take you into what we call ancestral exploration. They explore these ancestral spirits that you work with. So ancestral exploration on you is a process that involves the specialists, and the community members and the family. So when the family is with you and they are identifying the spirits in you, they explore the ancestral spirits that come, identify themselves, and these spirits are recognized as known by the others. And at the end of it, they say what they want. What they want is done. And after that, you go into training and apprenticeship. This training and apprenticeship is what I am showing you here.
Mm-hmm.
This training involves they are training you to connect with ancestral spirits. If you allow me to still use this and go back to a slide of galaxy outlay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, I think I can show the other one. Do you want me to show the other one? I think you can see it
Yes.
here. Okay, let me try this.
You have it?
Yes, can you see it?
Yes, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So now, during training, they train you, you become the spirit medium
Mm-hmm.
as a trainee. Now, during training, there is a lot of offering, sacrifice, divination that is taking place. They are training you to connect with your ancestral spirits. You are being trained to do the connectivities with ancestral spirits, such that you can connect with them at your will, but they can also connect with you at their will. So that two-channel is a training process that you go through. You train into connecting with the spiritual energies, spiritual powers of the material.
Mm-hmm.
You also connect with the spiritual powers of the non-material, of the non-living things,
Mm-hmm.
with the living things. And also you are trained to connect with the sun, tap into the energy of the moon, the season, during the day, during the night, when it is full moon, all those aspects have different energy levels you are tapping into for healing. So during training, you undergo all of that. You learn how to connect with the sacred places. In these sacred places, the forests, mountains, which rituals should you do to access the spiritual energies in the forest? At what time is this spiritual energy highest? At what time is it available? You are also learned into that. When should you fast to potentiate your potential of connectivity? You go into initiations because at the end of it, you are initiated into the process. Then you go into dreams and dream interpretation. How do you understand dreams? What symbols do dreams show such that you can easily relate to that? What kind of prayers and raise, what kind of praises and prayer, what kind of words do you use in order to potentiate the connectivity with the ancestral spirits? When you have visions, when should you use them? When should you look for visions? When should they come? If they come by themselves, what do you understand? All those processes, you undergo training. So after that training, then you can go to the pass out ceremony. We can go to, you can now go to, take me back to my slides.
Okay. Go.
Yes. Now, after training, you go into a graduation and pass out. This pass out is it's a communal ritual. This, there are individual, family, and the community. Because you are healing, you were identified in the community that you have the potential. You were trained in the community. Your training was witnessed by the community that actually you are trained by the right people. And then they witness your pass out, your graduation. Meaning actually they know the professionals who trained you, that they are capable. So the community, the aspect of the community becomes very, very significant because they witnessed you into the process, they witness your training, they witness the very tough tests you have undergone through, and they say, yes, you are competent to actually deliver. And that competence and that trust, that witness builds their trust. The healers, we are respected and trusted in our very respective communities because people know and trust that actually we are capable of doing the things. So when you this is witnessed by cultural leaders, spiritual leaders, and even religious leaders, the general public, professionals and non-professionals in spirituality witness it, the family and members and the community and the other trainees. So at the end of it, you come out and everybody knows that you are qualified, though we get no certificate. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sekagya. That was really good. So I'm going to move this back. So, can you share a specific example of how, like, traditional healing practices have made a significant impact on your community? So how has the community been helped, or any examples of, healing that's happened and that you can talk about?
Okay, I will not talk about others, I'll talk about myself.
Okay.
When I was in primary 7, that was 1978, primary 6 there, 1978, when I told you I really got a calling, I got indicators that I have the potential. Those indicators were, I was taken to hospital, Western Medical Hospital. they were interpreted as madness. So I was taken to mental health,
Mm-hmm.
mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it was later that they identified that it was a cultural issue. So I was taken to a cultural setup, and what I needed was to explore my ancestral spirits, and then go through the process I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during that time that actually what seemed to be a sickness to me was a potential I needed to nurture.
Mm-hmm.
I was assisted into nurturing it, and I have been very valuable to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And in any case, when you are in the community, because the whole community participates during your identification, during training, you are of service to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And this is significant because the community, within the community, you know who can afford and who can't afford. Those who can't afford are still given treatment because they are part of your community. And
Mm-hmm.
in any case, within our communities, we are interrelated. These are our brothers, our sisters, our clansmen, our community members, they are our mothers, they are our uncles. So all in one way or another, we are interrelated. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot let somebody suffer because they cannot afford.
That's right.
That would be wrong.
Right.
And we know who can afford, who can't afford. And in any case, they contributed to our pass out, they contributed to our training.
Mm.
So we are the same community.
That's right.
So we in indigenous healers are very instrumental in our respective communities. We can manage illnesses. We can identify illnesses from diseases. When the hospitals fail to make a diagnosis, we can actually go ahead and do the needful. When
Mm-hmm.
a patient fails to manage the hospital bills, they are taken back to communities, and we
Mm-hmm.
pick up from there.
Mm-hmm.
Not all people who go back to communities when the hospital have failed die. No, we manage them. So
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, we are instrumental.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, what challenges have you faced in promoting traditional healing? So, and particularly like, working with the healthcare or public health system. So, what type of challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them?
Uh, Western medical system has structured systems
Mm-hmm.
that have a certain logic, that has a philosophy, the germ theories and others. Diseases are diagnosed in a way that is scientific, that can be quantified, that have epidemiological and statistical significances. So that system is well established.
Mm-hmm.
But the Western medical system principles cannot be used as a yardstick to measure African spirituality and African medical system. So we are using a wrong yardstick to, to emulate the logic.
Mm-hmm.
The logic within ancestors, the logic for illnesses are different from the logic for diseases, as I expressed.
Mm-hmm.
But we are unfortunate at first that our system is not yet documented, is not yet, the theories are not yet developed, it's less understood.
Mm-hmm.
We have had witchcraft acts, many laws that demonized our system, that criminalized the practitioners and imprisoned the many. So that turned out to be a disadvantage at the beginning. But for now, we realize that actually it's the blessing that traditional medicine exists now.
Mm-hmm.
If it was well understood, well documented, it would have been adulterated too long ago. But because it is not documented, it's not well understood, we have managed to conserve it.
Mm.
And so we don't have proper legal systems to promote traditional medicine. Mainly, the argument is they don't understand the system. So they cannot promote what they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And our questions are, whose problem is it that you don't understand?
Right.
You can leave the people who understand to regulate themselves. Give
Mm-hmm.
them autonomy to regulate their system, because the autonomy, if we are given autonomy or semi-autonomy to regulate our system, we understand it, we can regulate it.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not how things work in Western educated logical systems.
Mm-hmm.
Western medicine is actually very good, it's logical,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also disappointing to note that whatever is logical is not necessarily true. There are many things in Western medicine that are logical when actually they are not true.
Mm-hmm.
There are many things that fail to meet the Western logic, but they are logical in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
But because they don't meet the assumed standard, which to some of us we disagree with. I'm a medical doctor, yes, but
Mm-hmm.
having standards in medicine is one of the illusions we have. If we don't have a standard patient, we cannot have standard medicine. That's very wrong,
That's right.
but it is what is dominating. So, a dominating system that is rich, well funded, it has the legal system, and it cannot admit its weaknesses, it dominates even where it shouldn't. That's a big challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very big challenge. Then conservation, we have issues with conservation. People have appreciated traditional medicine, but they have gone ahead to disregard our values, destroy nature in terms of looking for therapeutic active compounds in plants. We have disciplines like pharmaceutical sciences, pharmacies, pharmacognosy, which look at plants because of their active compounds. That's good logic, but active compound is not the only logic. There are other logics, because for us, we are not using active compounds, we are using the spiritual energies of the plants, which cannot be quantified in a laboratory. But failure to quantify them in a laboratory does not nullify its existence. So there we are, challenged. And also, we, the educated people, we have become very detrimental to the system. We are pseudo-educated, we are educated, specialized in like a small field, and we think we know a lot. What falls out of our speciality, we take it to be nothing. And then we are so proud of being narrow in what we know. And I think that's also detrimental. We should be more broad. We should know too much. We should know a little on everything than the training system where you narrow so much on so little. And that's another challenge. Then, religious leaders, religion has demonized what it does not understood. But since that was objectively done, that's it, and they achieved their their purpose. It helped us to leave our systems intact. It was ignored, incriminalized, it was not documented, but that gave us the opportunity to leave the system intact. It's not adulterated. When we wake up, we shall have a virgin area to actually investigate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Sekagya. I mean, it's been a true privilege having you on the show today. Your work in promoting traditional healing in Uganda and preserving the natural medicine forest is inspiring. And I know our audience has learned so much from your wisdom. So, but before we close, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Yes, we have high rates of mental psychotic disorders, depressions, emotional disorders that stress to our roots.
Mm-hmm.
It could be much in the diaspora. It is currently also much in our systems.
Yes.
But the root Western medicine has actually failed to address our emotions, our spirituality, our depression, the high suicidal tendencies. And I think we really need to revisit. We should go back to the drawing board and we see where did the things get wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are a new generation that is modern with modern technology, but when modern technology has failed, and we think we have ancestral knowledge that can help, I think we should put our resources together and
Mm-hmm.
investigate our roots, our values. Our values were not destroyed. We are fortunate. We need to go into to investigate our values with open mind. We should relearn in order to learn our values. We have our knowledge. It is there. Some of us know how to tap into it. There are others who are even better than some of us.
Mm-hmm.
Let us organize ourselves. We put our efforts together and solve global problems using local solutions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So thank you so much for that. So can you tell us how our viewers can connect with you and how can they learn more about your work and your work with PROMETRA Uganda? So how do they contact you?
Uh, Given the opportunity that we have linked up with Morehouse School of Medicine,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great opportunity we should nurture together.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that we have Africans who are educated, we have Africans of people of African origin or indigenous origin who are very religious now. We are we are the best. We are now at the crossroad, and I think Africans we are at a better position to look for the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
We are exposed in science. We are academically very good. We have many professors. We have tested all religions. So we have experts in all religions. And we have experts in our indigenous knowledge systems. So if we put our knowledges together, I think we are the best
That's right.
positioned. We are at the crossroad, and we who have been exposed in all aspects, we are the best to look for the right direction from now on.
Yes. Thank you. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Sekagya. And to our viewers, I just want to remind you about our African and African Diaspora Natural and Traditional Medicine Certificate Program, which is a partnership between Sable Women, Morehouse School of Medicine, and PROMETRA International. The next cohort starts in January. So thank you all for joining us today on Uncovering Hidden Healing. Be sure to tune in next Sunday for another enriching conversation. Until then, stay curious, stay healthy, and keep exploring the wonders of natural and traditional medicine. Goodbye.
Thank you.